Welcome back to the JCPod, partner with Staying on Sports. I'm your host, Jay Chandler Parnell, and man, what a weekend of sports. We had the Sweet 16 Elite 8 for both men's and women's college basketball, with women's finishing just last night. We have WrestleMania that's upcoming this weekend for those of you who are wrestling fans. We got, baseball just started back up. NFL draft is upcoming. It's about to be a big month of April, man. It's crazy. And if you think about it for NFL, too, we're basically to the offseason now. It's just wild to think about. So, yeah, well, without any further ado, though, it's going to be pretty simple today. Pretty much just recap what happened in the college basketball since we've talked, which is Sweet 16 Elite 8. Then we'll do that. We'll look ahead to the Final Four. We'll probably save that look ahead to the Final Four, maybe split it up and save it for the end. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe look at it before I talk about NFL news. We'll see. But if not, it'll be Sweet 16 Elite 8. NFL news, Final Four. I don't know which one we're going to talk about just yet. And then maybe we'll talk about a little bit of baseball. Kind of just talk about how the season started and everything. Because the season did start. Like, there's not too much to talk about, but the season has at least started, so I can at least mention that. But yeah, without any further ado, like I said, we'll knock all this out when we get there. We're going to start with the main thing right now, the main thing that's popping off, and that's the college basketball March Madness. There is officially now 4 teams left. We got 4 teams left when it comes to the men's and women's sides. Men's side, we'll touch on the men's side first. Men's side, UConn, Purdue, Alabama, NC State. Man, I won't lie, we had some really good games this weekend. We'll talk about those games first. Basically talk about how those teams got there. Man, I will, before we get there, though, I just want to say shout out my boy DJ Burns and shout out my boy Zach Edey. Cash cows. That's all I can say. Cash cows. I've bet on NC State every single game pretty much. They've been on the run for this, since they're running the ACC tournament, man. Bet them since they upset Duke that first game, and they do it again. No, I'm not going to lie. It's been a insane ride when it comes to the NC State boys, man. They've been balling out. Sorry, I actually went to the wrong thing to pull up the bracket. Was that in between graphic and breakfast? What? No, but keep going. Like I said, so UConn played San Diego State. I guess you can predict the score of that game. They win by 30. This is in the Sweet 16, by the way, so this is how we got to the Final Four. Illinois beats Iowa State in what was a really good game. Illinois looked pretty good. I mean, it's hilarious because we'll talk about this in a second when I bring back up the Illinois-UConn game. Illinois looked like they had the size advantage against Iowa State. They looked big, and then they played UConn. It's like, oh, that's a big team. It was insane. I thought Illinois was a big team, and then they played UConn. It's like, oh, UConn's a pretty big team, huh? I mean, it just makes me wonder, man, if they would have played Iowa State, they might have won by 40. Alabama beats UNC by 2. Insane game. Shout out to Alabama, man. UNC just kind of played at the food a little bit, left it close. Clemson beats Arizona 77-72. And what was a really exciting game. Caleb Love and RJ Davis both struggled. Purdue beats Gonzaga 80-68. Amazing game. And another amazing game. Tennessee beats Creighton. That game was kind of close, and then it just ended up not being. So then it moves on to the Elite 8. We're down to the Elite 8 now. UConn beats Illinois 77-52. This game was about 20-something at half. And then UConn decides to go on a 30-0 run and just slam that fucking door shut, man. It was unreal. I mean, they're so damn good. UConn is undeniably good at this point. Purdue, they're unstoppable. I don't even know if they're undeniable anymore. They're unstoppable right now. I mean, they're beating the hell out of everybody. They hold Terrence Shannon to 8, absolutely destroy them. UConn makes it to another Final Four. They will be playing Alabama, who beat Clemson. I won't say this is too shocking. For me personally, these are both 2 teams I didn't expect to make it this far and I expect to kind of choke a little bit earlier. So the fact that Clemson, I'm not going to say choked, but they lost here. I'm not the most shocked. I thought they were going to lose a round or 2 earlier. So shout out to Clemson for at least making it this far. P.J. Hollins was getting fouled over, they fouled out. But Alabama, just the 3-point shooting was, you want to talk about undeniable. 16 for 36. If they're going to make almost 50% of their threes, yeah, you stand no chance. And I mean, they only lost by 7 with that happening. So, sheesh. Yeah, and then it leaves Purdue, Tennessee. Purdue wins 72-66 in what wasn't, I don't want to say a classic, but it really was a good game. It's going to be an all-time performance from Edey. This is going to be look back at these are going to be one of those college basketball games that people talk about for forever. Edey. Dalton Connect dropped 37 on 31 shots, so I'm not going to say that's as impressive, but He did drop 37. He just took a shit ton of shots. That's the only part that makes me kind of like, could have been slightly better. But at the same time, Dalton Connect was the only thing they had working on offense for Tennessee that day. But Zach Edey, man, 40 and 16. Shout out to all my boys who rode the Edey 2010 with me and who's been riding it this whole. Shout out to you guys who've been riding it this whole March Madness as you have been. He's at 20 and 10 now for, I can't even know, a shit ton of games in a row. But 40 and 16, I mean, Zach Edey was dominant. We're going to talk about, when we get to the Final Four, we're going to talk about him a little bit more. And then the last game of the day, man. DJ Burns drops 29, 4, and 3. Jared McCain drops 32, but it doesn't matter. NC State wins 76-64. All-time run. They weren't from 17 and 4. We're going to talk about this in a minute, too. From 17 and 4. Needing a miracle shot after a missed free throw to even make it. And now they're in the Final Four. College basketball, man. The butterfly effect is crazy. If you think about it, O'Connell. Oh, man. Not Aiden O'Connell. Michael O'Connell. Excuse me. Michael O'Connell, man. The shot against Virginia is going to be living in the history of March for forever after this run. It's absolutely insane. So now that we got that happening, we got to the Final Four. Those will be Connecticut versus Alabama, 11.5 point spread. Purdue versus NC State, 9.5 point spread. My early prediction for these games, we're going to talk about these games a lot more on Thursday, so I'm not going to nearly break them down as I will now because that's going to be pretty much all Thursday is just breaking down these two games. And talking about a potential national championship because I don't know if I'm going to be on in time for the Natty. Because, the Natty's on Monday, so I'm not going to be able to talk to you guys until after national championship following Thursday. So we will have a massive, massive breakdown for those two games and potentially the national championship game upcoming. But yeah, like I said, just a little bit of a story about the story. I don't know if I want to do stories of the season, but UConn, they've been dominant all season. That's been what we've expected. Alabama, I'll admit, is one a lot of people probably did not expect. You can tell the three-point shooting. When they got it on, man. That three-point shooting is something special. But I don't really want to handle this game too much because we're being realistic. I think UConn's going to just blow them out and win by 20. If they don't, I'm going to be shocked and I'll be really impressed by Alabama. Do I think Alabama has a chance to cover? Probably not, but if they do, I would be impressive if they cover. Be even more impressive if they find a way to win against how dominant this UConn team has been. But man, Purdue and NC State, two teams that have just been through absolute hell in different ways. For NC State, it came to the fact that they almost didn't even make it here. They've just been on an insane run. So this is how they end their season. They lose to Syracuse, beat Boston College, lose to Florida State, lose to UNC, lose to Duke, lose to Pitt. All of a sudden now their season's in doubt. Who knows what the hell is going to happen? Play Louisville in the first round of the ACC tourney. They win. They end up beating Syracuse. And then they beat Duke. All-time run. 5 games in 5 days, they're able to beat Duke. I feel like they're missing a game. I feel like I'm missing a game here. They might be missing a game here or two here on this sheet. But either way, they beat Duke in the ACC Championship. Only way NC State was not going to make the tournament unless they win this. Then they have that game against Virginia in OT that everyone... Oh, I'm stupid. I'm stupid, my fault. I got excited I forgot the Virginia game was a game. I keep forgetting that Virginia game wasn't a tournament game. That was in the ACC tournament. That wasn't in the March Madness tournament. That's an ACC tournament. That's what messed me up. But yeah, like I said, so they beat Louisville, they beat Syracuse, they beat Duke for the first time. And then they have that game against Virginia where Michael O'Connell hits an insane shot to send them to OT. They end up winning that game. Then they beat UNC in the title game, which leads to them beating Texas Tech, beating Oakland, beating Marquette, now beating Duke again. With a chance to go to the Final Four, DJ Burns has become a national icon at this point. No, but like I said, I would not be shocked if he ends up in the G League at some point now with this amazing run he's been on. Absolutely national treasure. Like I said, I'll talk about these matchups more and more about the team's journeys to getting here and everything. I just want to briefly touch it up. And then Purdue, man. You want to talk about mental. All I've thought about, I'll admit, this whole tournament run, all I thought about is that broken whiteboard that Matt Painter did last year. That's all that's been in my head for a lot of the run. Even this season, I've thought about a good amount. That's all that's been in my head is that image of Matt Painter punching the whiteboard and the broken whiteboard after Purdue lost last year. And they just went on a run. This has been absolutely insane and fun to watch. Zach Edey is undeniable at this point. He is arguably one of the, if not, I'm not going to say the greatest, because obviously Lou Alcindor has played college basketball, but he will be, undeniably, he is the greatest Purdue basketball player of all time. And he's going to go down. He's going to go down as one of the greatest basketball players of all time to play college basketball. I mean, what this guy is doing is absolutely insane. We're going to just go through his last few games real quick for the tourney. Grambling, 30-21-2. Next game against Utah State, 23-14-3. Both of those were blowouts, by the way, so we said a little bit earlier. 27-14-1. He didn't play nearly as much. And then that was 38 minutes of game time. Last two games, by the way, 38 minutes, 39 minutes. This guy's gotten in shape, too. Shout out to Zach Edey for real. He went from someone who, I'm not going to say you'd be afraid to leave him on the floor, but there's times you'd be concerned about leaving him on the floor for long stretches of time, to now he's playing 39 minutes, dropping 40 and 16 on 13 and 21 shooting. Zach Edey is absolutely undeniable. He's one of, like I said, he's one of the greatest college basketball players. Truly, watching what Zach Edey's done is special, and for those of the people who hate on it and say it's boring, who say he's terrible for college basketball, those people just don't know basketball. Very, very simple. People who say he ruins the game because they get bailed on possession, they can dump it down, and then he can dunk or shoot it. I'm not even going to entertain it. I'm not going to lie to you. Feel free to argue with. I won't lie. Feel free to argue with me all you want. I know there's people who are totally in agreement with me. Like, yeah, some people are just absolutely stupid. There's other people who probably won't agree with me. They'll say Zach Edey's horrible for the game. I'm not going to lie. I'm just not going to entertain it. People who, like, I'm not going to say you completely don't know basketball, but if you say Zach Edey is terrible for the game of basketball, then I'm not going to make fun of your intelligence of basketball, but I'm not going to call you the brightest either, because Zach Edey is truly special. He's truly amazing. And he's actually had some real skill. Like, I was talking to my grandfather about it the other day because I was watching the game on Easter. By the way, I hope everyone had a good Easter. I hope everything went well. Hope everyone had some good time with family if you were able to spend it with family. Hope it was a great Sunday. But like I said, I was talking to my grandpa. It's like the touch he has around the rim is insane, because you watch these balls. He's hitting balls off the back iron. Balls that are hitting the rim weird, and then they just roll in. Like, there's one. Okay, I thought I didn't change the date for a second. I'm like, wait, is it April? No, but there's one ball that literally off the back iron, it does like a back side spin. It was a weird spin, and it just stays in the same spot somehow and then rolls in. He has the touch he has around the rim is absolutely insane. I'm like I said, I'm not going to go on a rant. We're going to talk about this more on Thursday when we get more into the college and more into the Final Four and talk about it. But I just want to give Zach Edey flowers, man, because the amount of hate I've seen on the internet for him is absolutely outrageous and stupid. I know a lot of it comes from fans who are Tennessee fans or fans who have played against Zach Edey that aren't the biggest. They're basically just mad they lost. Let's just put it like that, honestly. So that's why I just wanted to bring it up. I just think it's outrageous and pretty fucking stupid, if we're being real. The saying that Zach Edey's horrible for basketball. It's just people truly do not appreciate. Some people don't truly appreciate greatness anymore, and it's really showing. I mean, we're never going to see this again. Like we're not going to see. I mean, I won't say never, but it's going to be a very, very long time, I assume, before we see a big 7'4" center who's as dominant as Zach Edey is. Because don't get me wrong, Purdue's had big men before. Isaac Haas. Or is it Isaac Harms? Harms. Robbie Hummel. Like, they've had these big centers. I mean, shit, I don't know the dude's name, but they got one right behind Zach Edey already, ready to fill in his shoes, but none of them have been Zach Edey. He has truly been dominant. He's about to be a 2-time National Player of the Year. I mean, shout out Matt Norlander. He was I would recommend go listen to the Cover 3 call. If you want to know how truly great Zach Edey is, they had a Cover 3 podcast, for I believe it was Sunday. They were recapping the Elite Eight games. Just listen to that segment where they talk about Purdue. I mean, I can't remember it off the top of my head, but he's listing stats where Zach Edey's in stats with like Larry Bird, Oscar Robinson, David Robinson. I mean, he's in the question. Oscar Robertson, by the way. Sorry, I might have butchered it. He's in the question, or he's in the conversation with all-time greats. I mean, they had Lou Alcindor, I think, in one they was talking about, where it's him and the only two people who've done this. Shit, he's the one where him and Larry Bird are the only people with like 900 points, 450 rebounds. Like, he is truly great. And it's just all. It sucks that we aren't going to be able to see much more of it because obviously he's declared for the NBA. But it truly is special that we got to watch how truly dominant he is. I mean, It could just be me too. I'm a guy who personally loves watching big men play. So like DJ Burns and Zach Edey, like that is sex for me on the basketball court. That is my sex appeal. I love watching big men who are able to post it down low, can absolutely control the paint. I mean, you see how, the reason they foul Edey so much is he's so goddamn big. I mean, he just takes up so much space, and he's so dominant. By the way, sorry, if you heard that horn, I apologize. I have no idea what that was. I believe that was the, we used to have, wait, side note. Used to be a cornfield behind me. Now it's Caterpillar. So, that's probably what that was. But, anyway, like I said, Zach Edey's been absolutely dominant. I love watching him drop 40 the way he did, too. That was just awesome. So, shout out to Purdue, man. Moving on to the Final Four. I know it's been a little bit longer in Purdue than I did the other teams. Just know that I love NC State just as equally. And UConn, I think I just found the title for my video. Edey undeniable, UConn unstoppable. Because that's pretty much the best way to put it. Is Edey's undeniable at this point. He's one of the greatest players in college basketball history. And UConn looks unstoppable. I don't know who's going to beat them, truly. I just don't know. I have no clue who's going to be able to beat them. But yeah, that does it for the men's side. We'll talk real quick about the women's side. Two really, really good games last night. Shout out Iowa women's. Shout out to UConn women's for putting on a show. Caitlin Clark. Oh my God, she's disgusting. Caitlin Clark had an insane... I don't even know how to talk about the game. Her game was absolutely insane. I think she dropped 40. She was hitting shots from the logo, hitting fadeaway threes. The LSU Iowa game was amazing. So shout out the women for that. And then I think it's South Carolina, and I don't remember who they're going to play, but South Carolina's going to probably beat the shit out of them the way they've been this season. I can't. Oh man, what is it? I can't find this bracket. I guess I gotta look up. I can't find this women's bracket. Give me a second. I can't even figure. I can't remember who's. Oh, NC State. Duh, I saw that shit yesterday. Yeah, I couldn't remember who they're playing. So funny enough, shout out NC State, man. Men's and women's both make it to the Final Four. Women's are gonna. Both. Funny enough, I guess actually I lied. Both. I was about to say both are running into super juggernauts, but I forgot. NC State's not playing UConn in the men's. They're playing Purdue, which is still a really good team, but. I think it would have been ugly if they played UConn. Like I still think that could. I think that game will with Purdue. By the way, NC State. I think it could go literally like the Tennessee game did, where it's close. Purdue pulls away at the end, or it's gonna be like Utah State, where Purdue just buries them early and gets out of the way. Because don't get me wrong, NC State has been on an amazing run, but they're 17-14 for a reason. This team has shown that it can. It's just the biggest issue is no one's buried them early. Every team's let them hang around, and then they've just been able to lock it down defensively. And then be able to perform it offensively. If Purdue can bury them early, I think they can get ahead. But yeah, like I said, it's gonna be interesting. But we're talking about the women's real quick. Like I said, shout out to women's. It's gonna be really, really exciting. I have Iowa women's to win it all, so I'm gonna be hoping that they're able to handle UConn. But after that UConn game, man, South Carolina's gonna be tough. I'm not gonna lie, because that's South Carolina women's team. Pretty damn good, man. Pretty damn good. But yeah, that's going to do it for the college basketball talk for today. Like I said, Thursday I'll spend a lot more time on this. Damn near might be all Thursday's show. So with that being said, we're going to go to the NFL news. By the way, so some of this, like I said, we're going to burn through some of this NFL news because there's some stuff I'll focus a lot more on the NFL once college basketball's over and everything. And plus, too, to be honest, it's kind of like a dead period where, especially now up until the draft, we're kind of in the dead period where there's not as much stuff happening. There's still some stuff, like, for example, Carson Wentz is now Mahomes' backup, which is wild. Yeah, so stuff like that. Like, there's some small minor news. I think nothing too crazy today. But yeah, I think draft time. Draft time is when a lot of the big stuff is going to happen. And by the way, especially when it comes to NFL news, I will talk, I'm going to have a lot more stories coming up here soon. I'll have, the Dak story, because it sounds like Dak's going to test free agency. So I might talk about some good landing spots for him. Stories like that. Colts keys to success this offseason that might be want to do. There's going to be a lot of stories I plan on doing this offseason. Are the Bears the next Lions upcoming? Like, was their potential? There's a lot of stories I do want to do that I have lined up that I'm planning on doing. I just don't know the exact order yet. I'm trying to also give the shine to other sports because, like I said, as much as I do love football, I will burn myself out talking about just NFL all year long. Like, because let's be honest, I watch other sports. I actually do enjoy watching other sports. I love talking about other sports. But I'll admit, NFL's my king and my baby. I will always love NFL the most, and I don't think I'll ever get burnt out of NFL, for being truly honest. But I know for some people, there's some people that like, I'll admit, I don't get how they just talk about NFL all season long without bringing up any other sports league. So you're just going to not talk a word about this awesomeness that we've been seeing in March Madness or some of the cool stuff we've seen in the NBA. Like, I'll admit, I don't talk a lot about the NBA. I'm going to hopefully be able to start doing that a little bit more as the season goes on, or at least bring up more to keep some people more in the loop a little bit. But, yeah, like I said, I just don't. That's why I want to talk about college basketball a little bit more. And then, like I said, we had a whole summer where every week I'm going to have stuff about NFL leading up to August. Yeah, like I said, we're going to just hop right in. I just wanted to throw that out there, by the way, for those of you curious why the NFL might not be getting as much love lately. It's going to get a lot of love here soon. We're just sharing the spotlight a little bit, you know, letting college basketball do its thing a little bit, shining a little light on that. Because, yeah, once college basketball is done, we'll talk slightly about the NBA, some of the NBA playoffs, but it's all NFL and baseball, man. Because, yeah, I'll admit, as much as I love hockey, I don't watch enough hockey. I'm not tapped into enough hockey. I need some help with that. I need somebody to help me, like, find the right way to watch hockey and get into hockey. But that's a different conversation for a different day. Like I said, Carson Wentz is joining the Chiefs on the backup deal. This is honestly pretty surprising. Interesting move. I truly don't get. I'm not gonna say I don't get why they did it. I feel like they could have. If I'm them, I'd rather just draft a younger guy maybe, or I don't know. I just feel like Carson Wentz for the Chiefs is a weird move, but Andy Reid might be able to fix him. So might be able the opposite thing where, hey, they might be able to fix him, and then out of this, Wentz might become even better. But we'll see. He's also already 31. I don't know how much more we expect to see. I don't know what's up with Blaine Gabbert. I guess he might have retired or something. Oh. Where did Blaine Gabbert go? Yeah, because I thought Blaine Gabbert... I was thinking, I'm like, isn't Blaine Gabbert the backup? He must have retired. Because unless he signed somewhere else, I'm just being stupid. Because, yeah. I don't know who he signed with, sorry. I'm trying to find this out. I'm genuinely curious. It sounds like he's just a free agent, so I don't... Unless I'm stupid, he went to the Bucks. I don't think he signed... I mean, 2021, Jesus Christ. I don't know where Blaine Gabbert went, but... So, Carson Wentz is a new backup for the Chiefs. I wonder if Blaine Gabbert might be the third QB, maybe, because of this new third QB rule they've had, but I don't know. We'll have to see. By the way, our RP Devontae Davis, this was brought up yesterday on the Pat McAfee show, and a lot of other places as well. They weren't the only one that said it, but that's where I heard it. Vontae Davis, a former Colt, former, I think, Bill as well. He played for the Miami Dolphins as well. Yeah, it's just really sad, man. I don't think they've really came out and said what the cause was just yet. I think he was I believe they said he was found just like unresponsive somewhere. I think they said he was found unresponsive in his home, but they're still looking into it right now. Just RIP Devontae Davis, man. Shit's sad. 35 years old. That's just way too damn young. Absolutely way too young. There's been this whole incident with Rashee Rice. I'm not going to bring it up just yet. There's a car crash situation with Rashee Rice. He's cooperating with the police. So until we learn more, so I might talk about this a little bit more Thursday, if we get more news by Thursday. But as of right now, just know that yeah, I believe that was Rashee Rice in that car video. I don't know what more exactly is happening just yet, but I just know that, like I said, he's cooperating with police, and they're looking more deeply into the situation, because it could be a simple situation as he wasn't even driving, he was just a part of it, but you know how it works. NFL star, so he's the headline. So we're going to wait to see what more happens with this before I dive too much deeper into it. Just don't want to jump the gun on anything too early. Especially if he's in the right and not the wrong, or vice versa. I just don't want to be... I ain't trying to be on the wrong side of history, I tell you what. Eagles Blankenship signed a 1-year extension. It was really good. They need some DB help. Cam Sutton turns himself in after weeks of evading. Oh, he's evading authorities? Shit. He finally turned himself in, though. I don't know what's going to happen, though, but apparently everything he has is punishable up to 5 years in prison. We'll see what actually is the cause of it. Or not the cause of it. We'll watch to see what the resolution of this is because, like I said, I remember mentioning this a few weeks ago, and I can't believe he's still on the run. It's crazy. Obviously, it's crazy how time works because I wasn't even. It's like, damn. Obviously, it's like, damn, Buddy's been in trouble for like 2 weeks. The Cowboys are going to try to get Ezekiel Elliott back, it seems, but I guess I don't think they're going to try to. Actually, I take that back. They're open to a reunion. I don't know. It felt like they just shouldn't got rid of him last year. They should have just at least, like, they didn't need to give him a shit ton of carries last year, but they at least should have kept him around for the locker room, I thought, and for the building, but obviously they did not. Clowney expected to... Oh, yeah, Jadeveon Clowney joined the Panthers. This was a really shocking one. I didn't see his reasoning why. I'm very curious to see why he did. The only reason I can think of is because he played at South Carolina. I think that's his home state, if I'm not mistaken, so maybe a hometown move, but very, very interesting on why he chose the Panthers and over the Jets, because I think Jets were an option, but interesting. Raheem Mostert lands a new 2-year, $9 million deal. Shout out to Raheem Mostert. 31 years old at running back and getting paid. I mean, that's really good value for... I mean, shit, they ain't paying running back to anything, so he got really good value there. By the way, I just saw the video of Jaden Daniels' elbow again. That's so weird, dude. Obviously, he said he's fine, but, dude, that just seemed the photo of his elbow. It's a bit weird. It's just so weird. I don't know what it even is. It's just weird. He has this weird little bump on his elbow. We aren't going to go too far into it. The NFL officially announced its offseason workout dates for all 32 teams. So this is like the OTAs, offseason, all that stuff. So there's some days, like April 15th and April 8th are a lot of the days I'm seeing for OTA. This is OTAs, and then there's some... Actually, I don't even know if these are considered OTA. OTAs are in May and everything. The first official day of workouts is April. So this might just be reporting to the building to be able to do like lifting and all that. I believe it might be in in April. Jags are signing a UConn to a 3-year extension that's worth up to $45 million. Very, very solid deal. I thought he was really good for them last year. He led the league in tackles 2022, and then he has 357 over the last 2 years in the NFL, which leads the NFL, and so that's really, really good. He's from Yale too. Smart ass dude. I forgot he was from Yale. 819 tackles, 22 passes defended in 98 career games. That's pretty good. I'm sorry, I'm doing some quick math real quick. He's basically, if that's correct, he's averaging, basically, according to this, he's averaging 8 tackles a game. That's pretty impressive. Brandon Ayuk is I'm sorry, I realized how much I shrunk my chair right there. Oops. Let me fix this. Damn, now I'm just sitting up way too damn high. Brandon Ayuk, I an extension, trying to get what I deserve. Obviously, is what his words. We're going to see, man. Right now, Brandon Ayuk is this big, he's the big name, but this is something that's going to open our eyes to this whole Brandon Ayuk situation. Now, Eric Armstead said he was disrespected by the 49ers offer, so are they saving money for Ayuk, or are they just lowballing all their players? The 49ers extended me an offer of $6 million for 1 year with an incentives up to $8 million. So when they sent that over, I did feel extremely disrespected. I don't feel that level of compensation is nowhere near the type of player I am, which is very true. I thought he was a really, really good player. I don't know how there's true injury situations. I'll admit I was not tapped into the 49ers as deeply as I should have been, like when it came to their injuries and everything, especially to him. Like I forgot how often he was injured. Like that's what I'm trying to see right here. Because a lot of the fans, I was reading a lot of the fans' reactions to it the other day, and they said, well, you were injured, so what do you expect? You were injured all the time, what do you expect? A lot of that. So it makes me wonder how much he truly was injured. But 13 regular season games over the last 2 years, including 5 in 2023. So that kind of makes sense, but if he truly was the guy that they really, really did want to keep around, they would have offered him slightly more. So it makes you wonder where the priorities are at. If they are trying to save him for Ayuk, if they're just like, hey, let's just go younger on defense and just start stacking money for the future. The Chiefs are signing a rugby star, Reese Zamet. Did I say that right? Luis Reese Zamet. He's European, so I don't want to. I don't know what the accents are on the Reese Zamet. But I won't lie, this guy seems really, really fast. 4.43 40. He seems the nice part. One of the things I've heard about, I forget where I heard this from, but this has made me really intrigued. A lot of rugby players try to have a successful rugby career, then join the NFL, so they join a little bit older. So they're, I'm not gonna say like farther behind, but they aren't just, I guess, as young is the best way to put it. He's joining, I guess, at a younger age. I don't know. I forget how old he is. I think I saw like 24 or something like that. 23. So he's trying to join super young. I mean, shit, dude's younger than me. He's trying to join super young, and apparently he could be a star in rugby. Like, he could be a superstar, but he wants to try out in the NFL. So this might actually turn out really well for him, because not only does he have Andy Reid, he's going to the, not only is he going to the Chiefs, he's doing it at 23, so he has a chance to be younger and grow into it. Adam Thielen said everything was stacked against Bryce Young last season. I think that was very obvious from the get-go. Bryce Young basically stood no chance last year to be successful, for being honest. Clowney seals a 2-year deal, by the way. Bengals and Chase have not talked extensions yet. Broncos are signing Josh Reynolds to a 2-year deal. Interesting. I don't know if this will replace Judy or what. I'm not the biggest fan of Reynolds. I don't think he was bad, but I don't think it's like a needle moving signing. I think it's just adding. I don't know if it's adding more depth or it's adding a veteran. What it is, but I'm not saying it's a horrible signing. I'm not 100% sure what that signing will do. Like that when it comes to needle moving. Apparently there was a sex offender who hacked the Jack's Jumbotron. He's getting 220 years in prison. What? A convicted child molester has been sentenced to 220 years in federal prison for producing child sexual abuse material and hacking the Jumbotron of the Jaguars team Jacksonville Jaguars stadium after the team learned he was a registered sex offender and fired him. Oh, so apparently, what did he do? Apparently this guy's arrested early 2020 and deported back to, after being deported by the Philippines back to the U.S., okay. So apparently he had fled to Southeast Asia a few months earlier and then came back. This is wild, dude. Apparently this guy sexually assaulted a 14-year-old boy in 1998. Holy shit. So this is like an older dude, too. Oh, man. So yeah, apparently he was a contractor in 2013. Installation of a new... So he was the guy who basically, they hired... So Jaguars hired this guy to do their video board. And then apparently, this was in 2013, and then later on, they had him operate the jumbo board on game days, apparently this is what investigators are saying. And then they chose to not renew his contract in 2018 after they learned of this. And then apparently in 2018, he installed remote access. And then that's how they ended up tracking him and then finding all this bullshit. This is crazy, man. So apparently So basically, to sum that up, if some people are confused, apparently the Jags hired somebody to work on their Jumbotron. So this guy, before they knew it, apparently sex offender in 1998. 2013, he works on this Jumbotron. And he basically works on this Jumbotron. And then, I don't know when, but at some point later, they ask him, hey, you already built it. Do you want to actually, run it, pretty much? And then he runs it. And then they learn he's a sex offender, don't renew his contract in 2018. And then he has remote access in 2018. Pretty much, and that's when all this stuff gets in trouble. That's just wild, man. That is absolutely wild. Apparently, Brady's purchase into the Raiders is making a lot of progress. With him being an announcer, I'm wondering how it's going to be. I wouldn't say it's a delay, he said. We go through a thorough process. It's making progress. I mean, I'm not going to lie. Tom Brady's only 43. I would not be, 45, whatever it is. I would not be shocked if this is like another 2-3 year process where they're finally like, okay, yes, now you can do it. They said the number just has to be a reasonable number for the purchase price from Tom is the only thing. Indianapolis Colts owner Jim Irsay said at the league meetings in October. If reasonable value says that 10% should be $525 million, you can't pay $175 million. That's very fair. No, I think that's I think that's honestly makes sense. So basically, they're just trying to make sure he doesn't buy into the team, and then basically, because he bought into the team so cheap being a player or something, somebody else comes and be like, well, you gave Tom Brady a deal for this reason. I've looked into this hole. I want a deal for this reason. I think they're basically just trying to cover their ass. And do they need to go through all these details and all these things? Probably not, because I think a lot of people would understand, hey, it's Tom Brady. If he's allowed to have a deal off in an NFL team, I think out of anybody, a lot of people would agree, yeah, Tom Brady can probably go above some rules. But, like I said, I'm assuming they just want to be fair. Tre'Davious White is signing with the Rams. Harbaugh has been living apparently in an RV outside the Chargers facility for a little bit. That's hilarious. Steelers are signing Cordell Patterson to a 2-year deal. Cowboys haven't made Dak Prescott an extension offer yet. We talked about. Apparently, in-season Hard Knocks now is going to focus on a division instead of a specific team. That's going to be interesting. I think they did this because now a lot of the teams they chose to make the playoffs, like the Colts, eliminated early. Dolphins eliminated round 1. I think they want to give themselves a chance to be like, let's get an extra few games in. Apparently, there's going to be 2 exclusive streaming games in 2024, and then including one postseason game. So, the way it looks, NFL Now, blah, blah, blah. Peacock, NBC Universal will exclusively stream the Week 1 game in São Paulo, Brazil on Friday. First Friday game and opening weekend in over 50 years. This is going to be pretty fucking cool, I'm not going to lie. I'm very interested to see that. Prime Video, who has Thursday Night Football, will stream a wild card game this season as well. So those are what the 2 to look for. So the opening week game and then opening week game, and then a wild card game. Sorry, I couldn't think of the word. The NFL is going to push the trade deadline back 1 week, which is but it's probably really smart. I think a lot of people wanted that due to the new, basically them adding a week now. They're just moving the trade deadline week back. So it's basically, I'm not going to say it's like the old NFL now, but pretty much how the old NFL worked with 16 games where that trade deadline is. Now it's basically just flipped 17 weeks. Basically, it's the same now, just with that extra game. It makes it a little bit more even. We talked about how the Saints Ramczyk last week might not play in 2024 due to knee issues. And Texans Bears going to kick off the Hall of Fame game. I think it's going to do it. I think we've caught up pretty much on all the NFL news this week. Not the longest video today. I'm not going to lie. It's kind of the off season. I'm not going to say they're going to start getting shorter and everything, but sometimes there's just some days there's not too much to talk about. So we're going to have to find fillers and stuff. Like I said, Thursday's going to be a lot of March Madness talk. This pretty much today was just like I don't want to say like a recap, but a little bit of what's the best way to put it? Recap might be the best way to put it. Just a little bit of a catch-up, maybe. Maybe an even better word to use. Just a catch-up. Just like, hey, this is what's been happening over the weekends. In basketball, this is what's been happening over the NFL. Because I'll admit, like I said, nothing too crazy happening in the NFL, but there's a little bit of small movements here and there. Another one, by the way, Jamar Chase is supposed to apparently play, Calvin Ridley's going to play the Jamar Chase role in Tennessee's offense, which is going to be interesting to see. Because, I don't know what Tennessee's going to be. But that's probably going to do for today. I don't really got too much to go on about. Like I said, Thursday will be a lot more, I guess baseball, in fact. We could talk about, I don't really want to break down baseball too much. I guess I'll just shout out some teams to start off the season undefeated, maybe. I don't know. I might leave it be, like I said. Baseball just started, though. We already had our first no-hitter. Shout out to Blanco. I forget what his first name is. Ronel Blanco, shout out to him for throwing a no-hitter last night. First no-hitter of the season. White Sox are horrible. Yankees and Yankees start 5-0. Yeah, I think about sums it up. No, but that'll do for today. Like I said, I'll talk more baseball. Marlins are 0-5 for the first time in team history. Like I said, I'll talk more baseball probably a little bit later in the season. It just started, so I'm just gonna leave it be. Not too much to talk about. Yep, like I said, I'm going to leave it there. That'll do it for today. Thursday, we're going to talk about... Thursday going to be pretty much all madness. I'll probably save the NFL news for the end again, like I did kind of today, and just mainly focus on March Madness. If we end up having enough time for a lot more NFL, we'll talk a little more NFL. But the main goal for Thursday, like I said, we're going to talk about bets and pretty much Final Four championship breakdown because you won't see me Monday. I'm excited, man. Next time you see me on after Thursday, college basketball is going to be over. It's really insane to think about. Man, this year's flying by. We're already, May? It's already April, right? April 2nd, May, June, July, August. We're 5 months away from the NFL, man. That's all it takes. 5 more months, man, then the NFL's back. It's crazy. But yeah, like I said, we aren't worried about the NFL season just yet. Let's enjoy the moment. Purdue, NC State, UConn, Alabama on the men's side. UConn, NC State, Iowa, South Carolina on the women's side. It's going to be a great time. Going to be a great week, man. Thank you all for watching. Thank you for all the support. Like I said, Jesus, just fumbling over words at the end. Can't get this shit out of my mouth. Like I said, Thursday we'll talk more college hoops. Hella college hoops. Gonna be exciting, man. Can't wait. Like I said, March Madness pretty much always going to be March Madness talk bets, a little bit of NFL news at the end. And then when you see me on that next Tuesday, man, we're talking about a champion. Is it going to be Purdue? Is it going to be UConn, NC State, or Alabama? And on the women's side, who's going to be champion? Like I said, this is how we're going to end the episode, though, how we started. It's going to end with the title. Edey undeniable, UConn unstoppable. Thank you all for watching. Thank you for all the support. I will see everybody back in this feed on Thursday.